My dear friends, welcome back to the Beyond the Horizon lessons. Today, we are presenting you lesson number 2. But before starting the lesson, we want to ensure that you remember the subject which I have given to you in the last lesson. So, let us start with a slight revision of the last lessons. In the last lesson, we told you that thousands of years back, astronomy began with the naked eye observation of the sky above. So, the time of observing, that process, pioneers was the Babylonians, or they were called Mesopotamians. Actually, these Babylonians were nowadays it is called Iraq, modern Iraq. There were two important rivers called Euphrates and Tigris. This thing last time we have told. The valley between these two the rivers are called as Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia ruled years together by varying factions, tribal varying factions like Medes, Sumerians, Chaldeans, Assyrians, etc. So during the period of Assurbanipal, a king of Assyria, he built a very big library in his capital Nineveh. These scientific observers of the Babylonia people, they, after carefully observing the sky and the data they obtained, kept in such a special item. They have prepared that item with the help of the clay from the valley. That clay was made into tablets because there was no papers available in those days. So they used the clay tablets and inscripted the data obtained through naked eye observation. And these tablets were kept in the library in the Nineveh city by the king Nebuchadnezzar. So, the varying factions, Medes and Chaldeans, they attacked the Nineveh city, completely gutted with fire. The library completely gutted with fire. Because that, the entire city was ruined, and we, the civilized people, lost a beautiful treasure of the history of the astronomical observation. But luckily, after thousands of years after, these tablets were unearthed by the archaeological people, and they kept these tablets in the British Museum. They were deciphered by the people, those who are Assyriologists. The language in which this data was written was called cuneiform. The language was studied, and then the details of this observation were deciphered. Why these people had this much of continuous observation? After deciphering the tablet's language, Assyriologists like F.H. Kugler, they found that because of some certain needs of those people, those who carried out observation, this observation was very much important for them. They were the Chaldean priests. What they have done? They have observed the sky and found that the sky's movement of the objects, certain sky's movement of the objects were regular and repeating. That means continuously it is regular and repeating. So they decided to use that very critical movement of the object in the celestial sphere. For what are the purposes? First purpose was to find one direction on the earth. Second was to make a calendar. In those days there was no calendar, no number for years, no name for months. So, second was to make a calendar. And third was to find out the time during night. You know, these areas are actually the most expansion of desert. Nobody can travel through the desert during daytime. So they took night time for traveling. They were the very good business people. So that was the third requirement. And the fourth requirement was to find out one's age, or an institution's age, or a temple's age, or mosque's age. These are the fourth requirement. So, in the coming second lesson, we will be describing how they have used the sky as a big clock plus calendar. That is what the next lesson we are going to describe to you. So, we want to tell you that you go through the lesson carefully. If any doubt is there, put it in the comment boxes. That will be a healthy practice for understanding the things properly. We will be replying, not doubting that. We will reply to every comment. Thank you. Beyond the Horizon Part 2. As we are told in the introduction, in this Part 2, we will be discussing about the big clock in the celestial sphere called ZODIAC. It is not only a clock, but it is a calendar also. A clock and a calendar joined together in the sky. A wonderful invention by our ancestors during near about 4,000 or 5,000 years back. We will be looking at it, why a zodiac calendar is required? As we told that, it is mainly to find out anybody's age or any building's age or a temple or mosque's age. This calendar or zodiac is useful. How the technique of this working of the zodiac will be discussing. This picture you may be familiar in the first lesson of Beyond the Horizon. I have shown you this is the northern hemisphere, this north direction, and this particular star standing still is called Polaris, and other stars are just rotating from to east to west, making trails of the stars. This thing we have already discussed in the first lesson. You may be remembering it. So, problem is, for finding out the pole star is mainly for the finding the direction of one's position in the earth. But pole star is not visible from everywhere on the globe. That problem is there. So our ancestors, what they have done, they have grouped the entire naked eye stars in the celestial sphere, not only the top side of the earth, but below the earth also. That means the entire circle they have divided into naked eye star groups, and those groups were called constellations. This we have already told you. Now you may be remembering that. This constellation, these our ancestors given different names for these constellations and different images also to finding out very easily. Not only that, to memorize which constellation and what is the image of that. It's very easy. Like that, they have divided the entire globe into 88 constellations. Those 88 constellations, you can see it from here. Entire globe is divided into 88 constellations. Different images of animals are there, human beings are there, and reptiles are there, birds are there. So many images they have imagined and gave the names to these images also, so that anybody can remember them very easily. Now, our question is, in the beginning we told that there is a big clock in the universe, that means on the celestial sphere. Now we are going to find out that big clock. Before inquiring about the big clock, you can see here two circles around the celestial sphere. One is this blue circle, another is a yellow circle. What are those circles? That is what we are going to learn. This blue circle is actually, this represents the Earth's equator, because human being, for their convenience, Earth is divided into two globes. One is northern hemisphere, another is southern hemisphere. So, not only that, the globe was divided into different degrees also. Those things we will be discussing afterwards, not in this episode. In this episode, we are concentrating on this line. This is called extended equator of the Earth, that is called celestial equator. Actually, Earth's equator is extended toward the celestial globe. That is called the celestial equator. This is the celestial equator, And some may be wondering why there is a yellow line here. Yes, there is an yellow line here. If you are keenly watching, this yellow line is crossing two places. This one circle and another this circle. Both are crossing at particular angle. Can see it here. This angle, this angle. Other side also you can see there are two crossing angles. Here one angle, another here one angle. That means these two circles intersecting each other. That intersecting point is called equinoxes. This particular, especially near this fish, there is a point. This point is called vernal equinox. It comes on every March 21st of the year. Why March 21st? March 21st of the year, throughout the globe, day and nights are equal. Because the sun comes on this intersecting point called vernal equinox on March 21. Let us see how it is happening. See, I am changing the date. At that time you can see how it is being changed. Just I am changing the date, now it is March. And the date also I am going to change. I told you that it is 21st of the March. So then 21st of the March. Now you see where the sun is. You can see the sun. Exactly on the point, I told you that exactly in the intersecting point of the fish, it is at the center of the fish. Now, this is actually the last zodiac sign called in India it is Rashi. That means 12th sign, that is called fiscus. Here in this point only it comes on 21st March, the sun. And afterwards what happened, that we will discuss later, the another episode. Because here I want to show you, you just go on watch it, this ecliptic, equator and the ecliptic. This is called ecliptic. Why it is called ecliptic? Our earth has its own axis. It rotates around its axis from west to east within 24 hours. That is the reason day and nights are made. So, when day and nights are made, earth is rotating around its own axis once in 24 hours. That axis is actually has a tilt of 23.5 degree to the plane of the sun. So that tilt of 23 degree is here also it is reflected. Here 23.5 degree, here also 23.5 degree. So this line is called, or equator is intersected by the ecliptics. This is the ecliptic. In other way, this ecliptic is, if you are watching keenly, all the constellations. There are 12 constellations you can see here, which starts from the constellation Aries, and then comes a Tauru, and then comes a Gemini, and then comes Cancer, then comes Leo, then comes Virgo, and then comes the Libra. Just watch this line only, yellow line. After Libra comes a Scorpio, and then Sagittarius, and then Capricornus, Aquarius, then finally again to the fish as Pisces. After fishes come again Aries. You can see it from Aries here. Actually, thousands of years back, this Aries was the first point of actual science. First point of equinox. This Aries. Because that means, in another way, this crossing point was actually here at that time. Then how it has changed? This is another lesson we have to tell you. This is changed because of the Earth's axis precession. Earth axis has a precession. That means Earth axis is making a big circle in the celestial sphere. For making this big circle, every degree of the axis movement, it takes 72 years. That means for one circle, complete circle, the Earth axis makes 25,800 years. So it is not easy to find out. That is the problem. So now we will discuss it very clearly afterwards. Now we only concentrate on this zodiacal signs here shown to you. So zodiacal signs you can very well see. It is not really on the zodiacal line, but it is both sides are there. Here also the one part is there, here also one part is there. Like that, here one part is there, here the Tauru is just divided into center. Like that, all the zodiacal signs are actually not only the lines, but on both sides of the zodiac, near about 18 degrees of the zodiac. So I told you that it has been divided into 12 parts. The entire celestial sphere is 360 degree. It divided into 12, then it will be 30 degree of sky. It is all dependent upon those days, because Babylonians say their arithmetical system depended upon the sexagesimal system. That means divided can be by 60. That's why they have decided the globe is 360 degree. And each and every portion of this zodiacal signs goes to 30 degree. 30 degree. So another thing, you just see the sun. It is sun has to travel within one day within one year 365 days. That means sun travels in the celestial sphere every day by slightly less than 1 degree. So if sun travels 30 degrees, that means one sign equal to 30 degree, then it will take 30 days. That 30 days is called a month. Such 12 months are totaled into 1 year. That is the thing. Now, how it has become a clock, let us see it. Just imagine it is a belt of width 18 degree and 30 degree length. In each division, there is one sign, zodiacal sign. I shown you this area, Aries, second is Taurus, third is Gemini, like that, around the globe. So, our ancestors, the early sky watchers, persistently looking at the sky, seen one more wonderful thing. That wonderful thing was on this ecliptic line, that means yellow line only, in the middle of the sky, all the planets, that means Taragrahas, are just traveling. You can very well see it from here. Those days, nobody was knowing what is sun. Now only we know that it is a star. our nearest star. But they consider it as a planet. So, the first planet is Sun. Second is Mercury, very near. Third is Moon, very fastly moving an object. It is also called as a planet. And comes Jupiter. All is just moving along this line only. Then comes Saturn. Here it is Saturn. Slightly difference only from the ecliptic. After Saturn comes, on the same line you can see all the planets moving along the ecliptic only. And then comes Mars. Then after Mars come Jupiter, I have shown you. That means all the 7 planets, including Sun and Moon, both are included as planets on those days. Entire these 7 planets are moving on the ecliptics. And each planet, these are all the 7 planets, it takes its own time to cover one round around the earth. This thing very keenly they were watching. Example, Sun takes 1 year, that is 365.5 degrees. And Mercury and Venus both are taking same period because both are very near to Sun. Jupiter takes 12 years. And then Mars takes 1.5 years. Then comes Saturn. Saturn takes 29.5 years. Can see from here. This movement they have been watching years together and recording it, the Saturn here. So, every planet, whatever the time taken by the planet, they have recorded very perfectly. Why they have recorded it? They know they can use it for the purpose they were thinking about. That means finding one's age. They have used these 7 planets as the hands of a big clock. And those hands are moving around the entire celestial globe perfectly with their own time interval. That is actually the clock which is called the zodiac clock. And how it has become a calendar also, that will tell you in the next lesson. Here that zodiac belt is shown again in a different way. There in the stellarium, we have seen the zodiac belt of 18 degree into 30 degree around the globe. Same thing only it is here shown here, but that is a different way, that is only on a plain paper. All the zodiac signs or the constellations of each division are shown here. It is Aries, Tauru, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpion, and then Sagittarius, Capricornus, Aquarius, and Pisces. 12 signs. All these 12 signs is called as houses by the astrologers. They were the people found out this celestial clock can be used to find one's age. So it has a very good opportunity for them. How it has become an opportunity, let us see it. The primitive ancestors observing the sky found, in addition to the stars in constellation, there are 7 other celestial objects traveling through zodiacal belt around the earth. This I have shown you in the stellarium. Besides sun and moon, another 5 planets were also there. What are the 5 planets? There are Mercury, Venus, and then Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. In addition to that, 2 more items are there. But those planets, they call this a planet, but they could not be found because it is an assumed that these 2 planets are actually making solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. Those planets are called dark planets because they are not actually existing. There are only 2 points or 2 nodes in the sky where the solar or lunar eclipse occurring. That's all. So, like that, on those days it's all called totally 9 planets and it's called Navagraha in India. So, these 7 objects were called the wanderers or planets in the Latin language. Some of them planets had forward motion and some retrograde motion. Observing the present these planets, priests believed that the motion is due to the willpower of the godly objects. They were held responsible for the destiny of the people in the earth, whether it is good or bad, or otherwise these people have their future life good or bad. It's all decided by the planets, those who are moving along the constellations or stars. This is a very good opportunity for the priests. Because the priests were doing all these things, common people were not knowing anything about it. So, very easily they can be exploited. So, the pseudoscience, astrology came into existence. Actually, in India, this pseudoscience or this zodiac belt and the 12 signs of zodiacs called the Rashis all came with the help of the Roman or Greek astrologers. They came along with Alexander the Great when he conquered the Indian northwest part. That was near about just 200 years before the Christ BC. So, it is not India's property. Astrology actually came into or brought in India by Greek or Roman astrologers. Why I am telling this? This entire thing, the process was happened in the Babylonia only, where it has been leaders was the Chaldean priests. There is a proof. The horoscope written by the Chaldean priest, even now it is in the British Museum. How many years back? Near about 2000 years back, before the Christ. That is the history of it. Now, see the complete part 2 and learn it properly and ask questions if any doubt is there. Certainly, you must put in your doubt in the comment boxes and we are ready to reply for that. Thank you.